hopes to increase the number of registered voters to participate in the upcoming polls from the current 19.6 million to 26.9 million voters. Jeff Kirui, KTN News.
Indeed, and on that story we speak to our reporter Ibrahim Karanja, and it has been a very busy political weekend with top presidential hopefuls crisscrossing the country, while Deputy President William Ruto took his campaigns to Isiolo. ODM leader Raila Odinga was in Nakuru for a strategy meeting and later toured Nyahururu in Laikipia. Our reporter Ibrahim Karanja has the latest update on some of the political happenings in the larger Rift Valley region, and he joins us live from Nakuru. Good morning, Ibrahim. It's good to speak to you. First of all, the voter registration, of course, it was kicked off in Nakuru last week. You did say when we spoke on Monday when the exercise started that there was quite some low turnout, but we expected the numbers to go up. And yesterday, Raila Odinga was in your region. What more can you tell us from these visits, and perhaps how did they inspire the residents to come out or the turnout to register as voters?
Well, George, indeed, like it has been witnessed across the country, even the voter registration exercise across Nakuru County has also experienced a low turnout, especially owing to what people call the usual Kenyan way of last-minute rush, which perhaps we'll be expecting towards the end of this month all the way to the 2nd of November. But even as that happens, what you have asked about how leaders inspired people to come out and vote, we saw the functions by Raila Odinga, particularly the function he did with the youth on Saturday in Naivasha, was also, so to speak, a function for urging the youth to register, because at that very ground where ODM leader Raila Odinga was meeting the youth, the IEBC registration clerks had pitched camp there to woo the youth who are there to also, just as they are listening to Raila Odinga, move to where they were and register. And Raila Odinga actually said, just like he said in Luanda, Western Kenya, he repeated in Naivasha that he expected the youth to now be armed and prepared with a gun and a bullet. A gun, in this particular matter, meaning an ID card, and a bullet, meaning a voter or a voter's card that will allow them to vote in the next general election. Remember, Raila Odinga said that it is upon this particular registration that will inform his announcement for his presidential bid towards the end of this month, upon checking the demographics of the people who will have registered. But back to the political story, George. Indeed, it has been a quite political weekend in this particular region. Before William Ruto went to Isiolo, towards the end of last week, he was in the South Rift region, in particular Narok County in Kilgoris, where he met various leaders from various sectors, just trying to woo them to his side and to support the bottom-up economic model, which he intends to use into the next election. And immediately William Ruto left this particular region, he went to Laikipia, that is around Doldol area, all the way to Naibor, to Nanyuki, where in this particular region he spoke about the strategy to win Mount Kenya. Actually, remember, George, William Ruto saying that he, so to speak, has the key to the Mount Kenya region, politically speaking, and asking any other person who wanted to get votes from that particular region that they should go through him. He said that, and to quote him verbatim, Mulimani ndio kwetu, so that intended to pass a message to ODM leader Raila Odinga, who has in the recent couple of days trying to make forays into the mountain region. And what we saw yesterday is that Raila Odinga, from his trip on Saturday and Sunday, and in particular yesterday, where it sort of reached fever pitch, he hit back at William Ruto and stating that, look, I have been in the mountain before, I have been onto the mountain peak before, and I have seen the promised land. In this, Raila Odinga using the examples that even his late father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, supported the first president of this republic, that is Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, when he said that no Uhuru without Kenyatta, that particular time back in 1963. Later on, Raila stating that in 2002, he again was a darling to the mountain when he said Kibaki Tosha, and at that time he went back to that widely used phrase when he was campaigning in 2002, where he was referred to as Mutongoria Njamba, according to Raila Odinga, just to show William Ruto that he had made his inroads to the mountain region way before William Ruto went to that particular region. As well, Raila also cited the cooperation that he has had with President Uhuru Kenyatta, especially in this second and last term of the president, even mentioning the BBI and the goodies that it was intended, according to him, to bring to the Mount Kenya region, talking about a sum of 53 billion shillings that was to go to the Mount Kenya region or the Mount Kenya counties, if at all that particular document was to be passed, stating that that is what he meant for the region, and that shows that he has a good relationship with that particular region. We saw leaders who accompanied Odinga stating that they are going to stand with people who have shown or who have a history of standing with that particular region. To quote Governor Lee Kinyanjui of Nakuru County, he mentioned the fact that, and this was on Saturday when Raila Odinga was in Naivasha, he mentioned the fact that Nakuru County was to get, according to the BBI, 5 more constituencies, with Naivasha having been positioned as one of the constituencies that would have been divided. Lee Kinyanjui wanting to sort of bring the blame to the other side, the side of William Ruto, stating that we will only stand with those who stood with us and those who meant well for our constituencies. We also saw Governor Derito Mureithi of Laikipia yesterday talking about the 52 billion that the region was to get and stating that they lost it because of those who opposed the BBI. Once again, they're indicating that that was a team of William Ruto and the whole Tanga brigade that opposed the BBI process. So quite an interesting political weekend it was. And William Ruto did not just go down in this particular fight for the mountain. And remember, George, this push for the mountain is because this is one of actually the biggest area with the largest number of voters in the country. Remember, about 10 counties are stating to be under the larger Mount Kenya region, speaking from the headquarters, that is in Nyeri, all the way to Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Kiambu, Nyandarua, and in the outside counties, that is Laikipia, Nakuru, Tharaka Nithi, Meru, and Embu counties. Roughly 10 counties make up the larger Mount Kenya region, and that is why this particular region is now becoming a hot cake for all presidential candidates. And even as we head to the next election, you have seen also other leaders coming up and stating that, look, Mount Kenya is not lacking a leader as it has been painted. They're actually calling it a false narrative, a narrative that Mount Kenya does not have a leader. But all in all, this lack of or presence of a leader in the going, even as Mount Kenya goes to the next election, might play a very critical role. And this is judging from the political activities that we have seen over the weekend, because the perceived lack of a leader may actually place Mount Kenya at a vantage position in terms of negotiating before they finally agree that this is the leader that you want to have. Remember the talks about Limuru 3 that will be coming up, as well as also the perceived lack of a leader in Mount Kenya might throw the area in jeopardy. And for the first time, perhaps, the country might see a region voting or divided when it comes to voting. This is a region that has in the past been voting in one line, been voting as a block, and thus almost guaranteeing a win to whichever side that these particular votes have been going to. But let's see, George, that is what was happening in this particular region over the weekend. A lot of politics heated up, and we understand that the ODM leader will also be continuing with his campaign this particular week. He'll be meeting the youth, and also reports are that he'll be making forays now into the North Rift region to just see whether he can again garner support even before he announces his presidential bid, like he promised towards the end of this month, George.
Waiting to see how all that turns out. Ibrahim Karanja, our reporter, joining us live from Nakuru on the status update on what happened over the weekend. Thank you, Ibrahim, for that. Now to matters tourism, and as we approach the high season for tourism, the Mombasa County government has stepped up efforts to attract more foreign visitors from non-traditional markets. Our reporter Tobias Chanji spoke to some of the tourists from Ukraine as they shared their experience at the Kenyan coast. Take a look.
As a strategy to woo